Can you introduce yourself to us, sir?
Yeah, good morning once more. My name is Festus Ekechi, a Nigerian, a senior citizen. I retired from the services of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, in 2019. I'm one of those that are retired but not tired. Myself and four other retired directors of NDIC came together to set up Greenman Consulting to give back to society, not for pecuniary benefit. Of course, I'm from Imo State. Thank you.
Introduction. I also want to find out who Mr. Ekechi is. I know he's from Imo State. I know he's a very respectable member of the community. In fact, right now he's also a very great government property because he's retired from government work and he's really giving back to the society. How did he do it? That's the question on everyone's lips today.
Yeah, fundamentally, education is key. And I'm one of those that are product of poor family background. But that can never be a barrier to any hardworking young Nigerian. It can be the parental standing, financial standing, or economic standing. It can never be a barrier if certain things are done right. One, parents work hard to support you with capacity building. Not just only going to the university to pick degrees. Empowerment, handwork. On your own part, whatever you are sponsored to learn, whether in school or handwork, you must show commitment. So I was one of those that were committed to my educational pursuit and it paid off. That laid the foundation for every other thing.
Okay, we want to actually know you better from your foundation. Are you coming from grass to grace, or you're coming from ground to grass to grace? There are some of us who actually came from the ground. Yeah. We had to allow the grass grow before we enter the grace period. And some of us came from the grass. Our parents were either businessmen or government workers, and then we had to also our way up to grace. But some actually came from the ground. Some had no food, no slippers. So, which direction are you in? Are you in the people from the ground or those from the grass?
From the ground, maybe not. We never starved for one day, but we were not used to the luxury of bread and butter. But if I tell you who my parents were, you can conveniently place my background where I belong to. My dad was a houseboy to the Igbos, a cook and a steward. My mom was a complete traditional housewife that sold banana, granite, and plantain in front of wherever they lived. They were always moving. As one master finished his contract, returning back to the home country, they are handed over to another. So that is it. They were not educated. They were not. I was privileged to go to school because of what I call the God factor. Every young person is running his own unique life calendar. So I must emphasize the fact that where you school really never matter. Doesn't matter in life. Whether you're a product of Harvard or it's good if your parents can take you to those elite institutions. Fine. But something good can also come out from the local government, backyard schools, and what have you. So, but one thing stood out. In my basic education, primary, secondary, I never met, I don't know the psychology, the feeling of somebody that came out in second place. Throughout my primary school, first. Secondary school, first. And then taking all the prizes. So most of my teachers that had access to my parents, when they say, see this boy, you must train him. That spurred my father to make sure that I went to school. That's how I started. And then we finished as secondary school. I came out in what was then called as grade 1. Then there was no, we don't have these joint school matriculation examinations. So every individual school had their own exam. So I wrote many of them. IMT Enugu to study banking and finance, I passed. College of Technology Calabar to study accounting, I passed. Ada Polytechnic to study estate management, I passed. College of Technology Owerri to study finance and banking, I passed. And I made supplementary admission into UNN Suka. But of all of these, the first to come out was College of Tech Owerri. It's about 5 minutes drive from my own community. And from Ihiagba, the host community, to Futo, and Ihiagba has a common boundary to Nekede. So that is where the miracle started. So cost was reduced drastically. So that's a long gist. Then with my HND, the journey towards career building started. Worked in a couple of places before I was employed by NDS. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation was established in 1988, and we were the foundation staff. I joined on 3rd of July 1989. And then a lot of exposure, a lot of training. I moved around. It was fun. It was enriching. I did my MBA while in service. A lot of professional exposure that prepared me to move all the way to the peak as a civil servant. I retired as a director of strategy in 2019. So we couldn't have gone home. I couldn't have gone back to the village to be drinking palm wine, and sitting in arbitration over land matters and all of that. So there was so much to give out. That is how we are here.
Okay, thank you very much for that interesting story. It may seem like just a story, but it's actually a life experience. And I want to find out, while growing up, do you look up to anyone? Or was there anyone you were like, I admire this person, I want to be like this person?
Surprisingly, there was no particular person. Now, within my kindred, there was No visible educated person you can say, that my uncle is this or that. But one thing is remarkable. Each time I went on holidays in Lagos to my father, he will find time to take me to, what do they call this? First Bank CMS.
Yes.
It's a popular place.
Yes.
And you see young men in ties, and he will point and say, look, I want you to be like this. I want you to be like this. So that stuck. So when it was time to pick career, I was focused on banking and finance, accounting, banking and finance, accounting, banking and finance, accounting. That's just it.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So we're glad you're doing something. We want to know 4 or 5 years from now, where do you see yourself with what we are doing?
Immediately I retired, there are some basic questions I asked myself as a strategic management specialist. I said, look, what if God surprises me with longevity? What will happen? A man retires at 60. What if you get up to 90? What do you do with the 30 years? And I said, look, I will plan for that 30 years. But I review every 5 years. First and foremost, in the first 5 years, I envision to set up a practice, which has happened. And I said, okay, fine. If you are a strategic management specialist, why can't you take it to the peak? I'm a certified balance scorecard practitioner. Yes, practice will build strategy for organizations. And I said, look, what's the next step? As I'm going back to school. And indeed, I went back to school for my PhD. Now, when I was invited for conversation at the school authority, they said, okay, fine, we've seen your resume, it's good post. But we can admit you for PhD with MBA because MBA is a professional master's. So what do? We have to come in for MSc or MPhil, Master of Philosophy Management. I said, okay, MPhil is more like it. Because that's a gateway to PhD. So I finished my MPhil, continued. So I'll be doing my internal defense, PhD internal defense on Monday next week.
Oh, congratulations,
Now,
sir.
by January 28th, I'll do the external defense. And that will be it.
Congratulations.
Now, we are practicing here. We started by working for NDIC solely. We've expanded by working for some other government offices. And I tell you, today we are consulting for some private sector institutions. We work for Bank of Industry. Recently, we are now working for the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance. So, one after the other. Now, by September next year, or as we step into 2014, I begin to think, what next? What do I do next? And already I have certain things in my mind that I want to focus on by next year, because we are not anymore struggling to look forward to it. But most importantly, what to give. That is it. So for me, any retired person that is just modeling through, what do I mean by that? You don't have a plan for yourself, you don't get engaged, you will depreciate, you will wear out, you will deteriorate gradually over time. So it's good to keep busy.
Thank you very much, sir. So this program actually is aimed at helping out the youths who want to go down to both teenagers, the children, who want to start teaching them that life can actually be taken a step after the other. Life can actually be achieved slowly. You don't have to be in a rush to make money. You don't need to impress anybody. Because we found out that being in a rush to make money these days, in a rush to do everything, children are being depressed. We don't have business being depressed. Are being depressed. They are they are going into 419, into Yahoo. So this program actually is aimed at reducing it, stopping it, if need be, stopping it totally. So, what advice do you give to the children, sir?
It's straightforward. We should embrace what I call socio-economic hygiene as a people. There are basically two things you can give to any child. I'm talking to parents now. We are part of the problem.
Yes.
Education and moral. Don't pamper kids. Cultivate a modest lifestyle. Don't show them too much money. If you are blessed with money, put it back into society, help people. A lot of people will call in Nigeria, in bracket, big men are struggling with their kids. They're on drug. There's a lot of things. You can't control them. And most of them will throw them out of the country thinking that they go there and become more problems. Now, my advice, so many things that worked for us, my generation, are no longer available. Don't hope or believe that the only way you can make it is to get your education and go and sit in one office and be called all sorts of managerial names as status. No. Now, as you find yourself in school, create time. Parents should support their kids to go beyond acquiring academic certificates to get some, learn some handworks, can I put it that way, that can lay foundation towards entrepreneurship. Go and learn photography. Go and do videography. Those prepares you for content uh, creation specialization. Those are money making activities. Go and learn how to make clothes. Some people, you want to become a tailor. You want to do. No. All the big brands that we pay so much were started by young people. Go and learn how to cook and repackage and present African cuisines in such an attractive way that can give us international acceptability. Those things create wealth. Those things are not a waste of time. Now, stay away from bad groups, bad gangs. Now, anybody you see around that's not a living example of what you want to be, run away. Run away. Now, trying to keep up with the Joneses have messed up so many kids. You see yourself committing to gangsterism, cultism, and now you take substances that will damage and limit your opportunity to be a responsible, respectable citizen of tomorrow that we can be proud of. So there are so much in this direction. But parents, I have seen, if you move around town, there are so many house, big mansions occupied by young boys and girls. Parents have stolen a lot of money. They have properties here and there. They keep you there. We cook, we steal vehicles. That these kids can fly out to UK, to Dubai over weekend on holiday. Nobody monitors what they are doing. That is what is a big challenge to us. But entrepreneurial culture can change things swiftly. There's so much space in agricultural value chain. You're a young girl, you're a young boy, graduated 3 years, 4 years, no job. You go to the market, you buy pepper, you grind pepper, you put them in sachet, you distribute to what do you call them? Supermarkets. Fish, pond, have a pond, one, two, dry your fish, push them out. Crayfish, what do you call it? Onions, not onions, melon, and all of there's so much we can do. But when you believe that the best way to survive is by taking, you know, extracting herb, 419, and what have you, that is what is giving us the bad image in this country. The society is so vast, and there is space for every person. I tell you that. That I know.
And coming to the end of the program, like I said before, I'm Rosemary. Today was so perfect. I learned a lot from him. Oh, okay, I'm really going to go and learn out a lot more skills than just doing this. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for the time given. I think we also need to work on some parents because really, parents are not helping matters. Nigeria must get better. It's better already, but it must get more better. I'm Rosemary again, and this is my experience where we connect mentors to mentees. It's nothing bad having a mentor, somebody you look up to, it helps you grow. Like I, for one, I always tell people, Oprah Winfrey has been my mentor for many years. I look up to her in a lot of things, and I try to emulate her dressing code, her attitude, the way she speaks, the way she does things. And it's really been so good. And I hope children get to grow, find a good mentor. Don't look up to people who do things the way you're not supposed to do them. Look up to those who are so responsible, who do things naturally and normally. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I respect the fact that you've gone so high in society. And I really envy that. I want to go so high too. And I pray that whatever grace works for you also works for me too. We are very grateful for the time you gave to us today, and we really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Have a nice time on the program. Good morning. I can go on. Okay. Good morning. I'm Rosemary Chijindu, bringing you this program from my experience, Right Televisions, where we connect mentors to mentees. And with me here today is Mr.
Festus Ekechi.